Listening to this episode of Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast. A quick rundown of what you're about to hear. It is myself, Charley, and Cris. We are stepping into what we like to call the buffet line. So we're going to compare our conversation and the agenda of our conversation to stepping into a buffet line. And we're going to hit every spot in that buffet line. We're going to hit the salad bar. We're going to hit the hot plate, the entree section, maybe go for seconds or thirds in there, and then we're also going to hit some guilty pleasures at the end, which is the dessert. So it's a new structure and format we're trying out, and it plays along with our gimmick and why this podcast is created and just the way we think. So we're going to try it out. Hope you enjoy it. Really quick, on Twitter at the number 2 Heels and a Face. We're on SoundCloud if you just search for 2 Heels and a Face, and also on iTunes. So please show some love there. But most importantly, join the conversation on Twitter. And we just want to talk wrestling with you. Thanks. How are we doing today?
Doing all right. It's nice. No, it's not that nice of a weather outside. It's rainy and gloomy, but it's a good day. It's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording. We've been watching some wrestling. We had some food. Thanks for coming over, man.
Yeah. Thank you for your invite. You have a lovely home, and I'll be here for WrestleMania in a week. Right. So we're going to be seeing a lot of each other. Put a lot of good Two Heels and a Face promotional plans in the work today. Did that for about 2 hours and then ate some pizza and watched NXT. So
right.
It's been a great day thus far. So a lot of cool stuff coming from your boys over here at Two Heels and a Face podcast. And speaking of heels, faces, so we're going to get into a little segment action, trying a few new things out, and we think the listeners will like it. So the first segment is top 2 heels and 1 face. So we're each going to go through, doesn't have to be current.
Mm-hmm.
We're each going to go through 2 heels that have stuck out to us and then 1 baby face. So I'm going to let you start with whatever one you want to start with.
All right. We'll start with I'll go with the face.
Okay.
Right. And so yesterday I got to go to a freelance show.
Yeah.
At Logan Square Auditorium here in Chicago, Illinois. And the main event was Matt Money Cage versus GPA for the title, for the main title.
Yes.
And
this is freelance wrestling.
Yeah, freelance wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Matt Cage, I don't know why. I just know that he's retiring from the business. He's leaving wrestling.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and actually saw another event that's coming up for his like retirement match or whatnot. So he's leaving the business or whatnot. At the end of the match, he doesn't win. Matt doesn't win. But Sugar D comes in and cuts a really heartfelt promo about how he struggled on his way up and kind of encouraging Matt not to give up, not to quit, to keep going because he loves this business just the way he does.
Okay.
And I am giving him the face, Sugar D. He's like really like the whole promo was emotional.
Yeah.
And you could see that it also got to Matt. Like you see him kind of like.
Did he break kayfabe a little bit?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Well, because he knows he's leaving. Like
right.
There's no kayfabe in there. Like
okay.
everybody's aware of that. But he took on the heel role during the match. He's a big heel anyway.
Yeah.
But you saw a sensitive side of him when Sugar D was cutting his promo, and that's why I'm going with Sugar D as the face.
As the face.
Yeah. He definitely almost brought him to tears.
Okay. That's interesting. Trying to convince him to stay. Almost.
Yeah, to stay, to keep going, and this is gonna take me to the heel side, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
So one of my heels is Matt Cage.
Okay.
And that is because So he's, taking it in. He's sobbing, almost crying. But but then he, goes right back into his heel character.
Nice.
And low blows Sugar D, kick to the nuts.
Oh man.
Kick to the nuts. Like nobody was, saw it coming because everybody was like really inspired. In freelance, if you remember that previous show we attended to, they're accustomed to like near. I don't know if it happens on main events or whatnot. It's just my second show there, but people start banging on the mats.
Yeah.
On the mat of the ring.
On the mat of
people
the ring. Because there's no guardrail.
Right.
Right.
So people are banging on the mats, like everybody's like cheering Sugar D and like acknowledging that he's making good points. People are cheering for Cage to not leave the business or whatever.
Yeah.
But sure enough, turns his heel on and low blows Sugar D. So that's why Matt is one of my heels.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Ruthless.
And last but not least, the other heel that I have on my list is Abyss.
Yes.
Right.
Let's talk about this man.
So we talked about him briefly on our previous podcast, recapping the AEW show Homecoming, and how he interferes every match, and he's you just hate the motherfucker, and
to put it plainly,
right. So and during the week, I think I sent you and Jim a text, I believe, a screenshot of somebody posted a picture of Abyss and made a comment saying, can we sign a petition for AEW to keep this man out? Right?
Yes.
So his heat is for real. Like, people don't want him around. He interferes in every match, and so that's why Abyss and Matt are the two heels, and Sugar D the face.
I think that's the ultimate level of heel you're trying to achieve, is where the people of the show don't even want you there. Not that they don't want you wrestling in the ring, but you can't even get into the building.
Yeah.
Type of heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to agree with that. Yeah.
So what do you got?
For heels, I have Ethan Page, all ego.
Okay.
I just think I see him getting just booked a lot more places. I would go see him again.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where if I see him on a card, I'll research that card to see if it's near us, if we can go to it, etc. And he's coming out with a lot more. I'm a big content guy, and he's stepping up his content game.
Yeah.
He's coming out with all these YouTube videos and stuff, just kind of detailing him, and
he's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, he has come a long way. I think that he has the type of charisma to make it in the WWE if he wanted to. Like, I think the charisma piece is there.
I think I've heard a few interviews with him where that's his goal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's a great heel.
I could see him doing some real snarky, not self-deprecating, but just very standoffish type of heel work in the WWE. They'll have to censor him, but I think he's good enough to the point where he doesn't need to use swear words or anything like that to like draw heat. He's just very condescending is the word I'm looking for. Very condescending. For the other heel, I'm gonna say Pete Dunne.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yes. So rumors of Triple H faction happening after Mania. Mm-hmm. Triple H, Owens, Joe, and Pete Dunne. Yes.
There was already a tag team or 6-man tag, right, at a house show.
Yeah, so
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was Triple H, Owens, and Joe. And Joe and Owens are working together on Raw now. Mm-hmm. Because Joe is wrestling Jericho and Owens has a feud with Jericho. So I think that there is a lack of really good factions, and I don't want it to be another corporate. I don't want to go through the corporation.
You just want a good faction, heel faction.
Yeah, not the what did they call them? The Authority.
Authority.
The Authority. Yes. I don't want to go through another Authority cycle. I don't. I want a heel stable that is threatening, that can win matches clean. If this is too much to ask for. Clean.
But it's a heel faction, so they can't,
You can win dirty. You don't have to. Let me rephrase that. You don't have to win every single match clean. Mm-hmm. But the most
dominant faction.
Yes,
right?
The most dominant heels are heels who can just turn it on if they need to and beat people clean. Mm-hmm. I feel that Joe can be that heel. I know I've talked about this before with Jim and Matt, our wrestling friends. I feel that Joe can be a heel because in WWE they demasculize. I'm not even sure if that's the right word, but they strip the masculinity of some of these heels sometimes and make them look cowardly.
Right. You tone them down a little bit. You take away that edge at points. Yeah.
Right, and that's what makes him a heel, right? So with the AJ Styles thing, okay, you couldn't beat Cena without the club. And he did, I believe so. But I would just like a heel that can beat people clean when he needs to, and you just don't have to give him any help in any way. That's kind of like the Bray Wyatt thing. Bray Wyatt would get, when he was with the Wyatt family, he
lost a lot.
He did lose a lot, but he would get his heat because his friends would help. So I think Joe can be that heel where he can just dominate baby faces, and he can be known as a dominant heel force. Pair him with Triple H, who's one of the greatest heels of all time. Kevin Owens, who is becoming that, and then I think Pete Dunne is the perfect cherry on top. From what I've seen from him, I think he has the perfect look for it. He looks like a potential bully in grammar school or high school.
Okay, I see.
But he doesn't look. He's not your jock type of bully. Because although I wouldn't say he's a bad looking guy, but I think he has almost these facial features. He's got a little bit of acne, which is fine. I mean, I'm not dissing him in any way. I think it's adding to his character, his effect. Is what I'm trying to say.
Gives it. So this whole faction basically that you're describing is more of a everyday man, tough man type of thing.
Yeah.
Because we think of. So I was trying to think back into was it Legacy?
Yes, not with Orton.
Well, that Legacy, and then the one I'm thinking of was Ric Flair.
Oh, Evolution.
Evolution, right?
Yes.
So you had Ric Flair, you had Batista, you had Triple H, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like the total opposite, but in the same heel realm.
Yeah, like you're scared of these heels. These aren't your wussy heels. Exactly. This is the group that you see in the high school hallway, and you're afraid that they're gonna try to beat up you or your gang of clowns or your buddies, whatever. So I just think he'd be the perfect, and you're right, to the point of Evolution. Owens is the future as well, but you have the past, which is now Triple H. He was the present when the first Evolution was there, and the past was Ric Flair. So the past would now be Triple H. I guess the present would be Owens, and in the past it was Batista and Orton. So the present could be Owens and Joe.
Right.
And then the future could be Pete Dunne. So you still have all 4 people too, and you still have all those elements there. And I really liked what Pete Dunne did in the WWE Championship, the UK Championship tournament. Yeah. They were all lining up. They were all lining up on the front of the stage, and they were announcing that these were the competitors to make it into day 2 of the tournament. And Pete Dunne knew who he was going to wrestle, and he just attacked the guy. He attacked the guy, injured him, and then and when the match came, he played into that injury and hurt. I think his name was Sam Blackwell or Sam Gradwell, something of that. Hurt it, kept working on his back that he already pre-injured, and won the match that way. So I just think he's new and fresh, and he's my second heel. And moving on to the face, Ruby Riott, a.k.a. Sally Stitches, a.k.a. Heidi Lovelace, appeared on NXT. She's our girl from AEW. And from
mainly
freelance.
AEW, right? That's where we see most of her matches.
Yep. And I'm just really happy for her. Her hard work is paying off. It's the same indie story that a lot of people go through, but we should appreciate it every time, right? I think, although she looks that she could be part of Sanity, as I said earlier, she's got a very dark look. I think it's almost, she's attractive, but in her own special way.
Did you catch the promo that she cut after that, interfering into that?
No, what did she say?
She's like, yeah, most people are gonna say that, we look alike, but I'm just, rebelling against what society wanted me to be, and it's always been a struggle, but I pushed through, and I'm here, and it was a very,
nice.
I am defining that I am the baby face in this thing, even though I might not look like the typical baby face.
Yeah, that's exactly. She doesn't look like your typical.
And she did
correct.
that very well.
That's awesome. I didn't know that, so that's great. But yeah, she's my face. I think she's going to have a great career. I could see her being in WrestleMania within a year, maybe if they bring her up, maybe 2. I think she I think she has the potential for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, those are my 2 heels and a face.
Awesome. So in 2 heels and a face, we Charlie's the creator of the phrase that wrestling is a buffet. Am I right or am I wrong?
I did not create that phrase.
Oh, okay.
That phrase. No, I actually borrowed it. I continue to borrow it from MLW Radio.
Oh,
Someone
really?
on MLW Radio, I believe, said that, and once I heard it, I was like, that is the perfect comparison. So that's kind of what we built this whole podcast around, is that comparison, our appreciation for different things and different aspects of wrestling. But yeah, no, I did not create it.
I thought you did.
No.
I always thought you did.
Yeah, but continue.
Yeah, so, we do say that wrestling is a buffet. There's always something there for everybody. Some people, are just going to have a few things here and there. Other people are going to pig out, as we will find out later down the road. But we're trying a new format. And so we're going to run down the buffet line, right?
Yeah, we're walking down the buffet line. We're going to hit every spot. And along the way, when we're hitting those different spots, we're going to talk about different things.
Right, so let's jump into the salad bar.
Oh, the salad bar. Okay. So the salad bar is about a little bit of lighter, friendlier, fresher topics, right?
Yep.
Everything that you use to describe a salad. So I want to first talk about that I had the pleasure of being a guest on the podcast called Indie Pop, which is hosted by our friends Trina, the Marky's Mark, and Damien Salty G. They host their own podcast called Last Mark Standing, but they invited me onto the show that they do for the New Age Insiders Network. So New Age Insiders have their own podcast, then they have a podcast network, and underneath that network is a plethora of shows. One of those shows is called Indie Pop, which Damien and Trina host. Trina was off due to a loss. She lost a dog, so RIP to Trina's dog, and we're here for you if you need us, Trina. And then Damien invited me on to kind of take her place. So we talked about that AEW Homecoming show that we went to.
Yeah.
And actually a lot about it. And then Damien talked about some YouTube videos that he saw. It was just a really those YouTube videos were about an old, I think, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Zack Sabre Jr. match, and not too long ago, 2015.
And I was surprised. He said he was not a big fan of Zack Sabre, right?
Yeah.
And so what caught me off by surprise, like that he said that, and because I know he's also, I mean, I don't know him or ever talk to him, but I hear the podcast, I interact with him a bit on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I know he's a in-ring action guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. He likes a lot of the things.
Zack Sabre, that's what he brings to the table. A lot of in-ring action. Like, there's no
It is.
and buts about it. Like, he's just technical wrestler, technical wizard.
It is, but I think there's different types of in-ring. So, Damien was not a fan of him at first, and I think that Zack Sabre Jr. does do this. He grows on people, almost.
Yeah, for sure.
He grows on people. So, that's what we talked about. So, I just wanted to give a shout-out to go listen to that. It's the latest episode of Indie Pop on the New Age Insiders Network, and you'll hear me and Damien talking about AEW, about all the things we break down the entire card and how there's so many different aspects on the card, like an Abyss, like an Zack Sabre Jr. And it was a really, really great conversation. So thanks to Damien for having me on again.
Definitely check it out, guys.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about?
The thing I wanted to pick out here at the salad bar was the rumors, right? Because I also don't know if it's a for sure thing or where they are in the deal process, but I heard the relationship between WWE and ROH, how that was turning out to be, right? Initially, it's like, oh, WWE wants to buy out ROH, and everybody made an uproar. It's like, oh, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatnot. But the last I saw it was that WWE was not trying to buy out ROH. They just wanted to kind of invite ROH over to the network so then they could start building tiers of network subscriptions, right? So if we're paying $9.99 for what we get right now, if they start bringing in other indie promotions, they can charge $15 for that type of tier, that tier of subscription level or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So that's where the last I heard. But even if that's the case, what are your thoughts behind WWE trying to buy content from these indie companies?
It makes sense with everything that they're doing since they started NXT. It makes sense. I mean, NXT was used as a developmental platform, but it's become something bigger than that. It's become its own show. Then they branched off and they're doing their own cruiserweight thing. Then they went to United Kingdom and had a show there. I think the main goal here is global domination. Honestly, the main goal is global domination. They're almost creating their own indies or indie circuit, or they're trying to have their hand in every single match that's going on. And I don't blame them. I think it's a business mastermind diabolical strategy, but hey, that's Vince McMahon, and that's why we love him and hate him. So this to me,
write him down for the next heel.
right. He would have been a good one. This to me, if they layer in indie content in WWE Network, and Ring of Honor can benefit from that.
I mean, because a lot of indie promotions have their subscription. Well, I don't know if a lot, but I know a handful that do their online streaming service, and I'm shelling out my $5.99 or whatever it is a month, so I could watch AEW, or there's the other subscriptions out there. What's the one that we were talking about previously? High Spots has their own subscription. So if all of these start plugging at getting plugged into the WWE Network, and if that means I'm gonna pay $20.99 or $19.99, whatever it is, and I'm gonna get all of these things, like, I'll be down for it. I don't know what that does at a bigger scale. Like, I'm sure it impacts something within the indie promotions and everything. I don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but for my selfish reasons of consuming, I think it'll be great.
Yeah, no, I think it would be cannibalizing some of these smaller promotions, right? They would almost just be absorbed into WWE, because you could just watch it from the comfort of your home on the WWE Network. Some people would still want to maybe go to the live show, but it would be less. And I'm fine with them being, even if it's 6 months old, because this is targeted towards fans like you and I that go to indie shows, or are hardcore fans. And even if I have that if they told me I was gonna have that library for AEW, even if it was 3 to 4 months, back, or meaning I don't have the last 3 to 6 months of current content, and it was just older content, I will still go for it. So if that's targeted to us, I think that makes sense. Yeah. No, it's like you said, from a consumer standpoint, it's amazing. And because we have the best of both worlds in the same spot now. Yeah. So it's easier for us. But I would be scared if ROH was cool, the owners were cool with that, and they wanted to do that, then good for them. If I was, let's say I'm another company similar to ROH or on that same playing field or tier, I would be scared, I think, because, and I wanted to create my own entity. I would be scared, because I think that all of ROH's efforts now will just be funneling up to WWE.
Right, you'll be working for, let's say, royalties versus your actual take that you would get if it was your own thing.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and then your future is kind of now in their hands to some extent. But depending on what's written on the contract. But I think from a consumer standpoint, it's awesome. From every other wrestling promotion company other than WWE standpoint, it's shit. They're gonna take over the world. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
So let's hope they don't set the world on fire. Talking about fire.
Oh yes, the Big Red Machine, Kane, is preparing for the future.
Right.
A lot of people want to do different things. Right. Peyton Manning, to prepare for the future, bought a bunch of Papa John's stores. Rhino actually was running for office.
Right.
Was unsuccessful.
But he was successful in his run and won the tag team titles.
He did. In his run from one ring post to the other in that gore.
Exactly.
To win the tag team titles. But Kane is also thinking about the future now. He's old, man. He's been around. He's been a consistent high player and performer for WWE. He wants to be the mayor, I believe, of Knoxville, Tennessee, was it?
You might, yeah.
Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee. Kane is going to run and try to be their mayor. So congrats to Kane. Congrats to Big Glenn Jacobs for doing that. I wish him, although I don't believe in luck, I believe you make your own luck. I'm going to wish.
CM Punk.
Is that what he said?
Luck is for losers.
Is that what he used to say?
I think so. I might be misquoting that, but it was a luck thing. Like he has a luck quote that it's like, I don't need luck, I got skill type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that was this is a heelish move by me, maybe. But good for him, and I wish him the best. And also, I have a campaign slogan
for Kane.
For Kane.
All
Do you
right.
want to hear it?
Go for it.
I think the campaign slogan should be, "It's gotta be Kane." Do you know what that's from?
No, I don't.
So it's not a hugely popular term, but my friend Sean and I, we always laugh at when Kane debuted at the Bad Blood pay-per-view. I think it was Bad Blood '97.
Was it?
He ripped the cell door off, and Michael Cole's line that he kept repeating was, "It's gotta be Kane.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Kane."
Right, because this was when he was debuting, right? Like there was talks about like the Undertaker having a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's talks about
and
it.
it's like, just like with Ruby that we watched, Heidi, right? Like they acted like nobody knew who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Commentators didn't even acknowledge her name because they don't know who she is yet.
Exactly.
It was that same scenario with Kane. Yeah, I remember this now.
So I think that's
Gotta be Kane.
Yeah, you put Glenn Jacobs, 2017 or 18 or whenever this happens. And then under it, it's gotta be Kane.
So if he wins office, right? I really want his office to have a Kane mask just sitting there.
Yeah, you got the mask holders, bro. I see your lucha mask behind you. You got the mask holders for it. Give him one of those. But I would also want to give a challenge to our listeners out there. Come up with your own Kane running for mayor slogan. Tweet us at 2 heels. That's the number 2. 2 heels and a face. Your Kane slogan, and we'll compare it to mine, and we'll have a good laugh, and we'll even then wrangle up all the good slogans and send them to Kane himself, and maybe we'll use one. So please tweet us that. It's a challenge for you to be creative and think of something. It's got to be Kane.
All right, Charlie. Let's move on to the hot plate.
The hot plate. What's hot? Tell me what's hot.
So yesterday's show was extremely hot.
Yeah, the freelance show. Tell me about that.
Yeah, freelance wrestling at the Logan Square. It was. I honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
I knew a few names on the card.
Mm-hmm.
But did not know how it was gonna play out. I know it's the first time that they did this show at Logan Square.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're normally at the Bottom Lounge.
Yep.
But this time, so I got there. We waited in line for a few minutes. It gave me some time to sober up since I was pre-gaming a little bit prior to.
Nice.
Yeah, we got in. We were able to get a good spot. We had GA tickets. I actually got to talk a little bit with Veda Scott.
Who's that?
Right there.
Oh,
so I bought.
I see her. Yes, there's a picture of her on the wall.
Yes, that you made it sound creepy, bro. Like I have a lot of. Right.
Chris has a lot of autographed, signed pictures. The wrestlers are doing wrestling poses, and they look cool. They're not creepy at anything. Yes.
So Veda Scott made it to the wall. I bought a 8x10.
Did you buy that yesterday? The one I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one I got
It's
yesterday.
new leaf. You got a frame ready for it too?
Yeah, I had a couple extra frames.
Okay.
I bought them in bulk, as you can see. There's many of them.
It makes sense.
Kurt Angle, Dudley's,
DDP's on the wall. Yeah.
So anyway, to go back to the show, the N-words were right behind us.
Okay.
And I didn't know one of them was injured until it was time for their match. They were supposed to defend the titles.
Okay.
But they instead made I think it was a 4-team tag match for the number 1 contenders.
Okay.
Because they couldn't compete. But so I'm watching the show throughout the whole night, and the N-words are right behind me. always making like funny comments at all the like things. Like, they're commentating on the match.
Right.
You know, they're just having a good time back there, and we're laughing and, you know, high-fiving and everything. But overall, the show was great. I just talked a little bit about that Sugar D moment at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had a great match. Cage. So I had seen Matt Cage before, and I talked a little bit about him before too. But I was completely blown away at the match that he had yesterday.
Okay.
I've always seen him in this like pre-show dark match, you know, at AEW or some middle card matches. But yesterday he was at the main event, and he brought his main event game.
Did he? Okay.
It was great. GPA is also a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen him at freelance.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen much of his work, but he took a beating, bro. Like he took a beating for like 98.5% of that match.
Really?
Like, it was bad. But he ended up, you know, winning the match. He kept his title. What other good matches were out there? I mean, the whole card, like, there was not a point, you know, where it was a steady, you know, bringing the crowd up to a level. We did have a women's match with Veda Scott.
I saw that. Yeah.
And they brought in, I think the promotion is Rise Women's Rise.
Okay.
Wrestling or something like that.
Yes.
It was a title match. It was pretty good as well. I had a good time. I wouldn't mind going to, you know, being a regular, being from Chicago, like just started jumping on the bandwagon of freelance, right? Like, I'm new to it, and I did not regret, you know, buying a ticket for the show.
That's awesome. It sounds like, based off the footage that you put on with our Snapchat filter, we have a Snapchat filter going, and then you put on Twitter, it looked like there was a good women's match going on, and that's something that although we love AEW, it's something we talked about that we wish there was more of, like a women's division, or a strong women's division. So it sounds like they have the makings of that at freelance, which is a positive and something that you can check out if you don't find it at AEW Pro, or if you don't or maybe if you missed a Shimmer show with a lot of good women's wrestling. If you like women's wrestling, it sounds like they got some going on at freelance. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I believe their next show is on the 7th, April 7th. They're back at the Bottom Lounge.
Okay.
So, if you want to have a wrestling weekend, it's the 7th, and then the 8th, you could go to Rosemont and enjoy an AEW show.
Yeah, that would be a whirlwind of good stuff.
And then you could just, you know, recover on Sunday.
Yeah, Sundays are for recovery, for sure.
Like, my favorite freelance wrestler, or at least that I've only seen at freelance, it's been what's his name? Isaias Velasquez. No, Isaias Velasquez. He was in that Mustafa Ali show.
Yeah,
it was GPA. It was him versus Mustafa. It was a triple threat. So Velasquez caught my attention, and yesterday, I can't remember the name of his opponent, but he had also a great match.
Okay.
So shout out to him. Really enjoy his work. And
nice.
So we'll be going out to more freelance shows for sure.
Yeah, supporting Chicago indie wrestling. So it was better than you expected. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. Also, what a hot plate that you could take from the buffet right now. We would be remiss if we just didn't mention WrestleMania and NXT TakeOver Orlando. So I'm just going to give two things that I'm really looking forward to. Mm-hmm. Two things I'm really looking forward to is Heidi's debut, like we've talked about. I'm really looking forward to that tag team match, the
Revival, DIY, and
the AOP.
Yeah.
lots of acronyms or abbreviations, but really I think that match is going to be.
So let's focus
really
on that match for a little bit,
okay.
Just because Ciampa and Gargano are AEW boys.
Yeah.
Huge fan. Do you think they take the titles?
I know the Revival won't win. I don't believe the Revival.
I feel the Revival gets called up right after this. This is their
I would think
going
so.
Away.
I think so. This is their going away. I think that the Authors of Pain retain. To be honest,
they retain.
They retain. Yeah. But you mentioned earlier that they could do a split up DIY story for another that could probably last a good year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want it to see it anytime soon.
Correct.
But when we were watching NXT, a few minutes ago or whatnot, I told you whenever Ciampa and Gargano break up, like that's at least a year of storytelling.
Yep.
Leading to a Mania match. Like
yeah.
that would be ideal for me, right? Like I would, wherever that WrestleMania or that NXT card would be held at, like we need to fly and make that show.
I completely agree. We need to do more long-term traveling for wrestling too. That'd be fun. Larger traveling. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the right time. I feel like I feel like DIY if
has
they're
a
gonna
future still. Like,
yeah, if they're gonna win it back, they would also probably just do it in a match with Authors of Pain themselves. I feel that would be much more intimate and then much more a gratifying babyface win.
But this could also mean, already DIY kind of already beat the Revival, so the Revival could take another pin. That way, the AOP.
Yes.
Yeah. That way they don't take the pin and they still lose the titles.
That's true. They could steal. DIY could pin Revival and then not have to pin Authors of Pain. That's true. I
just want my boys with a title, bro.
I know, bro.
It makes it feel like I win the title when they win it.
I know. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling it, but from my smarky side isn't feeling it, but my marky side says yes. But I'm looking forward to that especially. Also, I just think speaking of WrestleMania, I think that two really good WWE can miss on a lot of stuff and a lot of storytelling, and there's a million podcasts out there that will give them shit for it. But two things that they've really hit on has been the Wyatt storyline with Randy and the Jericho storyline.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to those two matches especially, and probably Seth versus Trips because they're the longest storylines on the card.
Yeah.
So it's a culmination of so many weeks and so many twists and turns that have happened. A literal twist and then physical twist. Seth twisted his knee again. Yeah. So it's been and their theme is what is their theme? Thrill ride of emotions, or the best thrill ride, and the poster is a roller coaster. So I feel like those three storylines especially have been a roller coaster ride of emotions. Really well done. New and interesting things that WWE doesn't do very often, like the burning of a house on screen. So I wouldn't put it past them to do that, but it's different, right? Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to the culmination of those three matches in particular, and I hope that after they're done, I'm sitting wherever we watch it in your living room or whatever, or in the room next to us, because I'll be here, and I'm satisfied with the overall ending.
So what's your what will be your main event if you were booking Mania? Like, do you put Randy and Bray, or do you put Lesnar and Goldberg? Because I'm assuming that's gonna be the last two, right?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's gonna be within the last three, and then there'll be one in the middle that's like a palate cleanser?
There might be. It might be smart. I think that if I was booking it as a fan and it didn't have, and there was no, I guess, monetary value tied to the main event, which there might not be because everyone's already there to see those matches. I'm not sure if people really care what order they're in, but if I was booking it as a fan with no business interest in mind, I would put Bray and Randy last.
Right.
It's a longer storyline. It's going to be a longer match than the Brock versus Goldberg match.
And if you want to sprinkle some more stuff into it, is the actual older title, right?
Exactly. Yes,
it's the one that is not. I mean, I know they're trying to do the Universal and give it more credibility and give it history, but like really the title with the history right now, it's the SmackDown title.
The SmackDown title, yeah. I would think that. I know they're trying. Yeah, you're right. They're trying to make them on the same playing field, but I feel like that one has to mean the most in it. I feel that the main event has to be a long singles match with a lot of storytelling in it. It has to be your top belt in any promotion, any show ever. I feel like that shouldn't change unless there is a promotion out there that starts doing different things. But I feel like that's the formula, and that's what they should go with.
So
that's what I would do.
We started talking about this, the hot plate and what's hot right now and all this stuff. It seems like we're pigging out on Mania here. So
little
our
bit.
plate is full and we keep consuming more and more. But let me take it a step further and say, let's just run through champions right after Mania. Who are the standing champions?
Oh, so we're going back for like our third plate of the hot plate hot stuff
We're,
right now, right? We're really pigging out on Mania. So I think the club retains. This is just off the top of my head. Not a lot of thinking. I think the club retains. I think that Bailey retains. I think that Aries becomes cruiserweight champ.
Okay, well, you think...
What else is there? Yeah, continue. Pick up for me.
So for me, I think Enzo and Big Cass take the titles.
Okay.
In the women's Raw title, I think Nia is going to walk out with the title.
Whoa.
Yeah,
wow.
like I'm not... this is just what I think is going to happen, not what I want to happen.
Yes.
Because ideally, I wanted a Bailey to win the first title. Like, her first title should have been at Mania.
Yep.
And fucking fireworks and whatever you want to throw out there. Like,
Yep.
huge celebration. Big, wavy balloon man or whatever.
Floating, inflatable, something.
But yeah, I think Nia walks out with the title.
That's bold, bro.
And I don't even have her on my fantasy,
I got her on my fantasy team, bro. First place, by the way.
Yeah, okay. I completely agree with Austin Aries taking it from Neville. On the SmackDown side, the Usos just won the title, so I don't see them dropping it right away.
Yeah, I think Usos is a safe bet. I think Owens over Jericho is a safe bet. I think that Corbin over Dean is a safe bet for the IC title.
This will be Corbin's first title run, right?
Yeah. He's got that rocket ship to his back.
And then the United States title, right?
Yeah, that's Owens over Jericho.
Owens over Jericho, which, you're absolutely right. I think Owens wins. What's the Universal? It's pretty obvious that Brock wins it.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think there's a Finn interference somewhere, or do we see Finn next night?
Next night.
Yeah,
I think it's next night.
And then you have Randy and Wyatt, right?
The right thing would be to have Bray win.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I agree. Cool.
Yeah. Man, I'm full.
Well, you have to save some space. We got dessert next.
All right. What do we, I'm prepping dessert. Now looking at the show notes here, I'm prepping a little bit of dessert. So, dessert is a guilty pleasure for many people, correct? My guilty pleasure in wrestling is online on YouTube. I like watching Creator Wrestler Royal Rumble videos that people make. So let me explain how this works.
Okay.
Or then the abbreviation is CAW, C-A-W. So if you see CAW, it's Creator Wrestler. That happens.
It's not a bird call. It's just...
It's like a CAW. Right? I'll get into these YouTube rabbit holes. Well, I'll just watch a bunch of videos before I go to bed. And I tell myself I don't want to, but it happens. Lack of self-control, I guess you could say. And so I'm watching... I'll stumble upon one because I'm watching like another wrestling video, or maybe some WCPW stuff or something like that. I would say good stuff. And the person who made this video is playing a game, let's say the latest 2K or whatever, and they create a wrestler, and the creator wrestlers are all fictional characters in other platforms or mediums or shows or comic books. They're superheroes. They're the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which the movie just came out, I think. They're all these different types of people, and they put them into this Royal Rumble. So you got Ronald McDonald coming in as your first participant, followed by Spider-Man, and then they duke it out, and then it's just super interesting and weird to see all these. And some of the creator wrestlers are really, really good and detailed, and some of them are shit. But it's fun. It adds to it. It makes it funny. And they have like tournaments and stuff like that. So that's my guilty pleasure. It's very nerdy, and but I enjoy video games. I enjoy wrestling. I enjoy superhero like comic books and things like that. So it like puts them all together in one nerd explosion. But
bro, and creating a wrestler, right? Like we're talking about this briefly. It's like you get so into it, right? Like what part of it is like making sure that your wrestler portrays your vision. Like this is who you want to be going out to the ring or whatnot.
Yeah.
But then the hardest part, and like I've been creating wrestlers since like SmackDown 1 in the PS1, I think
Those games were good. Was it the Just Bring It one with The Rock on it?
Well, I think that was SmackDown Just Bring It was the first one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then SmackDown 2, I remember SmackDown 2 because like the loading in the games. Like, do you remember like how much loading? Like, I don't know if you've ever played those. But
I know there was a one with Brock called Here Comes the Pain, which is really good too.
I did not play that one.
Okay.
But like you would, if it was a street fight, like you would drag your opponent like into backstage.
Yeah.
And you would get a big loading.
Yeah, I remember that the game was like. Yep.
So, but yeah, like, so the crucial part for me was getting the moveset right.
Right.
So, and I'll put it out there. A friend of mine, back in grade school, we still talk. I can't remember why, and I'll probably reach out to him to see what the reason behind it was. But we created Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Those were our characters. But we spent so much time on the moveset. I don't know why. But like we spent so much time.
At that time.
Probably. we created the moveset so good. Like we really enjoyed the moveset that we didn't even want to go back and fix, and like, well, I don't think you could rename them at that point.
Okay.
So you had to create a new wrestler if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we don't want to go through that. Let's just fucking, like, I was Britney Spears, he was Christina Aguilera. Like, let's tag team and let's, do one-offs and win titles. And it's one of those things that I can't, there's no explanation for it. But I just know creating a wrestler takes time, it takes effort, creativity, patience, and it has to pay off. So once you have the right thing, you can't go back.
Yes, that's true. I can just imagine Britney Spears doing a moonsault.
I think this would be probably like the cherry on the fucking dessert here, but I think her finishing maneuver was the X Factor.
Did she have the Bronco Buster in her moves?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that, but I think I ended up picking that move because it was is easiest to execute anywhere in the arena.
Oh, okay.
So it had to be like a front-facing, standing anywhere type of move. So
right.
The X Factor was the move of choice, the finisher of Britney Spears.
That makes sense. My creator wrestler memories come from WWE, or excuse me, at the time it was WWF No Mercy. For the Nintendo 64.
I never had 64.
Bro, that is the best wrestling game of all time.
That's what I played it a few times, but
oh my god, I'd still have battles to this day with some of my buddies. But I remember, to your point, spending so long in the moveset
and
section.
they usually would be born, at least from what I know, like on a Friday night, because your friends will sleep over.
Yep.
And like you'll spend all night, building the character. You'll be so tired, and like, okay, let's play now.
Yeah, after you just, and they would show you previews of the moves as you're picking them. So you're watching your creator wrestler powerbomb someone 50 times in a row to try to pick the right type or
because there's 15 types of powerbombs.
50 types of powerbombs. Yeah, but that's how I learned what the moves are called. Yeah. So when Michael Cole calls a, what is it?
Northern Light suplex.
Yeah, or he calls something the Michinoku drive a modified Blue Thunder Bomb, or the head scissor takedown. He calls it a Hurricanrana. I want to slap him in the face because I know that what the move is called because I watched my creator wrestler do it 50 times growing up, and
that's interesting how like WWE put the Hurricanrana as the move name, but commentators in WWE call it head scissor takedown or.
Michael Cole's calling it wrong. He just doesn't know.
He's just
he's just mixing the moves up. He's just mixing the moves and the names. He needs to play some WWF No Mercy and create himself. Actually, he is in that game, I think. But maybe create it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can play as a bunch of random characters in that. You can play as like Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, and things like that. But learn the moves, Michael Cole, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so that was the dessert. It was too sweet. And so, Chris, tell me, next time you go up to the buffet table, which might be tomorrow, might be tonight, actually.
Right.
When you become hungry again, what's on your plate next time? What do you got coming up?
So, one of the things I want to get my hands on, it's more Lucha Underground, right? So now we have it on Netflix. Charlie's doing the Lucha.
The Kalisto points.
Right. But yeah, so I've been pacing myself with Lucha Underground. I don't want to, eat it all up in once. I don't want to pig out on Lucha Underground.
Okay.
I want to pace myself because I'm preparing myself for the climax, which is the Ultima Lucha for season 1. And I want to get to that Pentagon versus Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's one of the latest years, I have not seen a match with that much storyline and that much of a payoff.
Okay.
I get goosebumps every time I see it. Even if I see a highlight reel, or I'm on YouTube, going down the dark hole, and I'm like, oh, Vampiro versus Pentagon. I know the outcome. I know the match by heart.
Yeah.
But I'll still watch it, right? So I'm leading myself into that.
Okay.
And I'll probably do a solo pod, right after I watch it.
Please do. I'm sure I would love that. Yeah.
I want to, and I say solo pod, but if it matches up that we're here, we'll do it together.
Right.
So that's what I got next. That's what I want next on my plate. Some more Lucha Underground, getting to that place. So it's Mania season.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to go back, and I had an idea of looking at the just main events of WrestleManias.
Okay.
Just watching matches.
Okay.
And I don't know how far back I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to just go through maybe 1 through 10, really back. I want to start from WrestleMania 1 to 10. And I don't know if I'm gonna get to 33. That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
But it'll be the ideal to do that. I wanna recap those moments. And I'm not old enough to be like, oh, I was around when WrestleMania 1, whatever. But I remember I was probably 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And my dad showed up at the house with I don't know if you've ever saw the big box of WrestleManias. So it was a big box of VHS tapes.
Okay.
It was an official WWF product.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And I remember it was $120 back in the day. So that was pretty chunk of change.
Yeah.
One of my dad's buddies oh, look what I just bought, blah blah. And he was like, oh, my son loves wrestling. Let me borrow it for the weekend. And I had no idea because I was 10 years old.
Uh-huh.
My background was in Lucha Libre and all that stuff, and I was just starting the WWF thing. So I didn't know who Sergeant Slaughter was or who Andre the Giant was or whatever. But I watched all of the fucking tapes.
That's awesome.
And so I remember doing that, and now I want to, being Mania season, having the podcast going, all these, wrestling things that are going around, I'm let me go back and really check out at least the main events of all those WrestleManias. So that's what I want on my plate.
Damn, that's a lot, and that's cool. I love that. It's relevant. It's timely. I remember when I first got the network, I was watching the entire WrestleManias all the way through.
Oh yeah.
I didn't set.
How far did they go? I haven't tried.
They go all the way to WrestleMania 1.
So I could get this from the network then.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's
what I
on
was
your plate?
saying,
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You could get that. So, I would say that your strategy is good with just in the main events or big matches, because some of those, just because it's an older style of wrestling, some of those matches
and you
are
see the evolution of wrestling.
Right.
Itself,
exactly. Yeah. Some of those matches are hard to get through.
Mm-hmm.
They drag.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Junkyard Dog versus a Harley race, I think at WrestleMania 3, and it just ends abruptly, and it just some of those matches aren't great, but the main events, the big ones, the Hogan versus Warrior, you got your Warrior versus Macho, I think, what was that, 7 maybe, Hogan versus Andre. So you're hitting those, then you're hitting all the things that you need to hit.
Yeah, and definitely, even if it's if they're still on VHS and they sell that box, and I think it was WrestleMania 1 through 14, even if I see that somewhere, I would like to get my hands on it just for collection's sake.
Yeah.
Just the memory of the box that I borrowed for a weekend.
Yep.
And that's enough for me to be I want that somewhere in here.
It would be a great add to this collection that I'm staring at right now. Did it come in a was the box kind of branded as WWE?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was. I remember it was like a silver box,
Okay.
kind of
Like a bin almost or something.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it had like the old school WWF WrestleMania logo. You know, that
Nice.
thick font.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
like that one. I
Yeah.
like that logo.
So it was branded. And it was awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Really, what just is on my plate is not as cool as yours, but I want to catch up on, because I have a New Japan login.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
catch up on some New Japan matches that I heard are really good. Obviously, Meltzer loves them because he
Mhm.
loves everything that happens with New Japan. But an Ospreay versus Elgin, I heard, was awesome. Really, really
Mhm.
good. And then also, because, and Damien and I talked about this on that podcast that I mentioned earlier, there is so many, and we actually, before we started recording, we were talking about this, how things are so accessible. There are so many things accessible. So I wanna check out some AEW shows I missed, and I want to check, either you can download an MP4, or there's streaming or on-demand services, and I kind of want to check out some other indie stuff, maybe some Progress Wrestling.
You know what needs to be on your plate? It's the Wrestling Diaries.
Yes, Cole Cabana's
Cole
Road
Cabana's.
Wrestling Diaries. That'll probably be on my plate too. And I have a Sting DVD. I want to watch Sting Into the Light, so I should probably get to it, huh?
Yeah. And there's a lot of things on your plate. I don't know if you get to all of those, by next time around. But
yeah, I'll chip away at it.
Yeah.
As long as you're making steady progress, right? Yeah. So
Right.
so yeah, that's on my. Thanks for taking me through that buffet line. I need to relieve myself, I think.
yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we go?
No, I mean, aside of any upcoming shows that you're attending that you want to look forward to, aside of AEW's, what is it, Epic?
Yeah, AEW's Epic in Rosemont, new venue. I'm just really looking forward to that and seeing how that venue is, how many people are in there. I'm assuming it's going to be bigger. The card looks a lot like the card that we saw at Homecoming, which is an awesome card, just a different combination of matches.
We have a few matches that have been released, right?
Mm-hmm. We have Penta versus
AR Fox.
For
And I
Heritage
heard they faced each other at LaSalle maybe 2 months ago.
title. Yep.
And I heard that match was amazing. Like, even AR Fox tweeted like it was one of his best matches ever.
Who ended up winning that one?
I don't know. That's I don't even probably want to know, because then they'll probably tell me who's going to win the next one.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So, but I just know it's a really great match. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know who Sammy's facing, but I know Phoenix is facing Johnny Morrison.
Yep.
Or Johnny Mundo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all I know so far.
There is ACH and Shane Strickland.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be good too.
It's gonna bowl again, like, just as super athletes in that ring doing
So
stuff.
this time I'll just take my 5-hour energy drink and sip away at it like you did.
Yeah, it helps, man. I tell you, after one of those matches before intermission, you need to pick me up. You don't have to chug the 5-hour energy; just take a little sip of it, and it almost it's like you're sticking a stimulant needle in your arm or something like that. Just shoots you right back. But yeah, that I'm really looking forward to that. I don't really have anything else more to say except for, not to end on a really sad note, but JR's wife passed away in a fatal car accident. It was a bummer. So, he's in our thoughts and prayers, and we love JR. Jim Ross, just a great guy and the best commentator of all time, in my opinion, at least. So, very sorry for his loss. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, it sounds like he's doing. I think he posted a tweet about how she was an organ donor, and some of her organs are saving lives. His wife. So he's being very, very positive about it. It has to be an extremely hard thing to do. So
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that he's still updating us fans, it really says a lot about his character too.
100%. Yeah, character, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Not the character Jim Ross in wrestling.
No, but his
his
real
inner
life
character. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he reacts to things when nobody's watching. So that's how I would define character. But strong guy. Send him your love on Twitter, and also send us your to-do list or what's on your plate next for wrestling. We want to hear what you're watching in the future, what you want to watch. What's that one thing you've been trying to get a hold of that you just can't, or something maybe it's a DVD you're trying to buy out there or on eBay or something like that, and it's a show you really want to see, please tweet us and let us know. We're at 2 Heels and a Face on Twitter.
And before we go any further, bro, let's talk about this buffet bracket.
The buffet bracket. Let's do a buffet bracket update.
Jesus Christ, AEW took a loss.
AEW, the Chicago indie scene battled it out.
All right, Freelance versus AEW.
Yep, Freelance number 13 seed Freelance versus number 8 seed AEW Pro, and Freelance got more love and support on Twitter. They ended up being assigned the favorite.
And it wasn't like a super slope win, right? Like it was right to the minute.
It was maybe 10 votes, which and in
the Twitter sphere, I mean, it's like a 0.05.
right,
or something like that, but I don't know what the percentage is, but it was tough competition out there, man.
Yeah, and they each got a lot. This is the most votes we've ever had on our tweets for the buffet bracket. I think it was like 77 to 67 or something was the final, so a lot of votes. Some of our rounds are 10 or 15 votes a piece, but they got a ton of votes. So it just shows the love for Chicago. The love
and
that
like you,
fans have for Chicago indie
you
wrestling.
were the one that were that tweeted out through the 2 Heels in the Face Twitter account, where in reality the winners of this, it's us Chicago-based fans.
Yep.
That are able to indulge in this buffet of wrestling that we have here. So
it's a great time to be a fan. Yes, especially when you live here.
So our final four are.
Yeah, so Lucha Underground topped NXT to make it in the Final Four. So the Freelance Wrestling has a strong competitor on its hands. They need your support, people. You need to rally behind them and vote for them on Twitter. So it would be Freelance versus Lucha. On the other side of the bracket, it's Ring of Honor, who's being mentioned a lot in the news, like we said, versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we got some titans up there. WWE has been completely eliminated from the buffet bracket, unless ROH becomes part of WWE.
But for now, it's on ROH's terms. Like,
yes,
they're doing is what's getting them in the Final Four.
100%.
So we'll be posting the cast so you guys could vote.
Yep.
And make sure you retweet or favorite the promotion of choice, and let us know what you think. If and even if you think that you thought that whatever other promotion should have been on the Final Four, we want to hear your opinion.
Exactly. There was a lot. If you look at the first round of the buffet bracket, a lot of indie promotions. Some in Japan. There was Beyond Wrestling was in there.
Right.
CZW was in there. So let us know your opinion. We just want to discuss and have a conversation, and Twitter is the platform to do that. So the votes for the tweets for voting will be. I'm looking at the calendar now. I'm not sure when this podcast will come out, but the tweets will be sent out on March 26th or the 27th, so Sunday or Monday. So look for those, and then vote to your little heart's content.
That's right. All right, I think that wraps it up for today's show.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the buffet line.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about that. We sat here for a lot of what do you call it? Many hours, not a lot. Many hours discussing this buffet line, and this is what we came up with. So let us know if we wasted our time or if you like this rundown. So
yep.
You can find Charley at
Chuck_Colorado on Twitter.
Right. You can find me at JP Wrestling Fan. And you can listen to us. So subscribe, rate, review, do all that good, stuff.
iTunes and SoundCloud.
That's right. At 2 Heels and a Face. Number 2 Heels and a Face.
Take care.
Thanks.